I was stuck on that road for over 31 miles by myself, soaking wet, in the snow, freezing cold. No phone service either. I'm in like up in the mountains in Arizona. I finished that day and I ran my 40 miles that day and I realized like, you know, it can't be much worse than this. And I knew day 15 that I was going to finish the run. At the end of the day, you have to look at yourself in the mirror. And, you know, there's no faking it in the Solitude. So you're going to find out who you really are.
What's one thing that holds people back from reaching their full potential?
I think people, they care too much what other people think. If you start a journey and you're going to start something new and you're going to chase your dream, people are going to make fun of you. People are going to talk about you. You can't let it bother you, man. Yeah. You know, you got to run your own race. Whatever, you have your family, you have the people that really care about you. That's all that matters, man. You're going to worry about someone who has no idea who you really are and their opinions. You know, dude, it's not worth it.
Let's make it happen.
Let's get it done, guys.
Before we get into the episode, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Roan. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't look nearly as good as I do in the Rooftop cold plunge. Hats, swimwear, all the activewear you would ever need. Go to the link in the description, use code RCP at checkout, and get yourself something today. We are back for another episode of the Rooftop Cold Plunge. Today's guest, Andrew Linder, the first human to run from California to New York City with a 15-pound weighted vest, all to bring awareness to the cause of human trafficking. We talked about what it felt like in the moments of solitude during the run and why he felt like he needed to do something so extreme to make a statement. This one's really good. I hope you guys enjoy. Andrew Linder.
What's going on, brother?
Welcome to the Rooftop Cold Plunge.
I appreciate it.
Let's open our plunges. I don't even feel that. How's that feel?
Yeah, that's cold.
All right, we're gonna ask a couple questions outside the plunge like we always do, and then we're gonna see how long he can last in the plunge. He is an avid cold plunger, so I expect that he handles this with grace, but we will see. All right, let's get into some questions. First question we usually like to ask, tell us a little bit about yourself and what kind of introduced you to your following and the people.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Bensalem, just right outside Northeast Philly. I moved down to Washington, D.C. to pursue like my career in law enforcement 5 years ago now. And then, you know, throughout all that, just being afraid of getting too comfortable, I started running and doing races, things that were hard, just trying to get, you know, mentally stronger. And that brought me into the endurance sports and the ultra running world. And that's really what most people know me for, probably from my journey last year of running across America and then my journey of running ultra marathons.
Why did you embark on that cross-country journey?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things, it all ties into my why. My reason behind getting into law enforcement was to go after human traffickers and sex traffickers. Yeah. And I wanted to do something that was going to be able to pull people in to donate money and to raise awareness for something. So raising awareness for human trafficking was my why for that journey. And I needed to do something that no one had ever done before. So I thought about running across America. So I strapped on the 15-pound weighted vest and you know, started my journey.
I've seen the video, obviously it's on your social media, of you crossing the finish line. Tell us a little bit about what that moment specifically felt like for you.
Yeah, the last week was special because I came through Philadelphia, and so all my family and friends were here. You know, we shut down the city, got to run through like straight down Broad Street. So it was just magical. So that final week was great, and it was just a reminder of like how important, you know, my family and friends are, and, you know, being able to go through that finish line and see all of them there, all these people that came out to see me and witness me, you know, achieve this feat, but all here because of the common cause of human trafficking and, you know, wanting to raise awareness for it and sharing my story. It was just really special, man. I was just very proud of myself and my team for doing what we said we were going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of people share, a lot of people post stuff about, you know, the awareness type of things here, but you ran across the entire country. Why do you think you had to do something so extreme to, you know, bring awareness the way that you wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think if you want to make a large impact, and if you want people to ask the question why when you're doing something, you have to do something that is really going to like be impactful, and you have to do something that like makes someone stop in their tracks and be like, yo, what is this guy, why is this guy doing this? Right, that was the number one. Why does this guy have a vest on? Right, and they start asking questions, and they're like, wow, if someone's willing to do this, he must be pretty passionate about this cause. Maybe I should do some more research. Maybe I should deep dive into why he's actually out here doing it. And for me, that's just kind of how my brain thinks. I just go all in on things. I thought of the biggest thing I could think of. Let me do this, and we'll see how it goes.
So when you had the idea, how much thought or research went into preparing for it prior to actually doing it?
Not much at all.
Usually you don't. I figured, because the more you think about it, the more you talk yourself out.
Right, exactly. Like if we always talked about while we were on the run is if we knew everything that was going to go wrong before we started the run, we would have never done the run.
Exactly.
You know, like, so, you know, I think if you overthink things, man, you just got to believe in yourself, believe in the people that you have around you. And that's what allows you to get things done. You know, like we have like this saying, like planning is overrated, adapting is underrated, right? Like life favors the people who can adapt.
Definitely.
And, you know, that's what we did.
Who is a key person or mentor that helped you along the way, along that journey?
My football coach at East Stroudsburg. You know, my mindset, a lot of my mindset comes from being coached by Coach Twig and, you know, just believing in myself. Like he's the guy that taught me like, hey man, just go the extra step, you know, work harder, believe in yourself, like things can get done. And that really opened my mind into this whole world that like, you know, if you talked to me 5 years ago, there's no way I would have ran a marathon, let alone ran 3,000 miles across the country and something like that, you know? So just absolutely having that full on belief in myself that I could do what I say I'm going to do definitely comes from him.
Love it. That's a great answer. We talk about content on this show a lot, just because I'm in it and a lot of the people that I interview are in the content space. But how about your content journey? What kind of goes into your strategy of the content piece?
I just try to be as authentic as possible, right? I think that in this world, there's so many videos with a ton of edits and a ton of filters on it and everything like that. And I think what people are drawn to with me is that I'm just authentically myself. You know, I don't really follow any rules that other people tell me I should do or whatever. I just post what I like to post. And, you know, I post for the people that, you know, believe in me, right? And I don't do a lot of trendy posts and stuff like that. And maybe that doesn't work to the algorithm in my favor, right? But I'm just going to be me. You know, I don't take a lot of brand deals or anything like that. Like, and I think that's the one thing that you can't buy is authenticity.
Before we get in, you ran across the country. You do a lot of running. How important is the cold plunge to recovery for you?
Every morning, you know, if I can wake up, I have a cold plunge at home and I get there in the morning and I'm able to like start my day that way, like I'm starting way ahead, right? Because most days I wake up, I'm pretty sore. So being able to start off with a cold plunge, just having that shock my body, getting my head underneath the water, which I get scared to do every day, no matter how many times I do it. But once I get out, I mean, I don't have bad days.
That first 30 seconds gets you every single time.
Every time. Doesn't matter how, it never gets easier.
No, it does not.
It never gets easier.
Let's get in. Woo! Did you plunge this morning?
Nah, because I'm at my parents' house. So they don't have one there.
So,
but if I'm here in the winter, I'll go up to Tyler State Park. And I'll go in that water. Like Christmas morning, it's a tradition now.
Really?
That like I'll go up there and with a few of my buddies. They think I'm insane, but like the one year, it was like 2 years ago, it was really cold. There was like ice in the water. And that was one point I was like, oh, this is probably not a good idea. You know, like, on Christmas is probably not.
You may have to include me in this year's tradition.
I definitely will.
I mean, let's bring the video crew and create some content.
Dude, that'd be sick.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, let's rip it. Oh
man, this is much needed.
Plunging with a view right here. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. God, he's a professional.
I think this is just from like the 100 miles on Saturday. Haven't been in a plunge since.
Did you run 100 on Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday and the Sunday.
Holy shit. You're a fucking nut job. All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
What is the hardest part about running?
Just getting started. Right? Like, I didn't run more than a mile before I started like this running journey, right? And just getting started, getting out the door in the morning, lacing up your shoes. You know, I still fight those demons, you know, of like lacing up the shoes and getting out there. I'll stare at my shoes for 30, 40 minutes. I'll sit in the park for 30 minutes, just like, but dude, just get it in. And once you're done, it's like the cold plunge, man. You get out, you finish your run, no matter how slow or how fast you run, you're going to have a great day. You start your day that way, you're going to have a great day.
Totally agree. For me too, you said it, that first mile, you get over the first mile and you're gone.
You're good.
But that first mile is a mental battle.
Yeah.
3,082 miles, you're run across the entire country. Yeah. What did you listen to primarily during that entire time, if anything?
Yeah, so, I mean, some music for sure, but I'm a big podcast guy. Okay. Listen to a lot of Audible books, right? And, you know, but I think a lot of the time was just spent just in my own thoughts. You know, there was, you know, you're running on the side of a highway, you're running on the side of where, like, a place you're not familiar with, like, just to be safe, man, you want to hear everything that's around you.
Definitely.
And some of those times when I'm in a lot of pain or discomfort, I like to just be alone in my thoughts and just kind of eat it.
Yeah. Do you have 3 recs from a podcast standpoint that you like to listen to when you run?
Yeah, I listen to a lot of Chris Williamson, like Modern Wisdom is great. And then, you know, Rogan, depending on, I mean, he has some of the best guests in the world on. So depending on who he has on. And then a lot of like Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett, you know, and he's got great guests as well. So.
Yeah, those guys are at the top of their craft and great to listen to, no doubt. What did the solitude of those miles teach you about yourself?
You know, a day that stands out, people will see like the finish line, right? Yeah. And that day, that picture's usually often what people show of me. But day 15 was the hardest day of the run. And that day was when I was alone, you know, in Solitude, mostly by myself because of the weather. My crew that was in the RV, like the bridge that I went up, they were stuck. They shut down the bridge because of how bad the snow was that day.
Damn.
So I was stuck on that road for over 31 miles by myself, soaking wet, in the snow, in the rain, like freezing cold. And no phone service either. I'm in like up in the mountains in Arizona. And like that day, like you really get to ask, like, you know, I asked the question, like, am I the guy I say I am? And like, who is Andrew Linder?
Yeah.
And, but I finished that day and I ran my 40 miles that day and I realized like, you know, it can't be much worse than this. And I knew day 15 that I was going to finish the run.
Yeah.
You know, so like when you're in solitude, like you're going to find out you can't fake it, you know, like there's no, like at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and, you know, there's no faking it in the solitude. So you're going to find out who you really are.
I love it. You talk a lot about being alone and there were a lot of moments where there was nobody around, but I'm sure you met a lot of people on the journey.
Yeah.
Who was the most interesting person that you met along that journey?
Yeah, so I was in Ohio, and his name is Keith. I'm on a trail early in the morning, and this older guy is riding a bike, but he's like pretty jacked older dude, right? Yeah. So he rides past me, and you know, we say what's up. He comes back around, and then he's like, "Hey, man, like, what are you doing out here?" So like, I tell him like my story, and I was like, with all due respect, sir, like, what are you doing out here? Right. And you know, he ends up telling me he's about to turn 71 next week, and he's getting ready for a 2,000-mile bike ride across the country, right? And I was obviously fascinated, right? And I started asking questions, and he was a Vietnam vet. And he came back from Vietnam and he was addicted to heroin. And he battled with drug addiction and everything like that. But every year since his 60th birthday, he goes on a 2,000-mile bike ride. And he goes and tries to find people who are struggling along the way. And he helps them and tries to guide them in the right direction. And that's what he does for his birthday every year. And just an absolute savage. He doesn't do it for social media clicks. He doesn't do it for fame. No one will ever know about that. But he does it because his why is so strong. And it just brought me like so much like joy. It's like, it doesn't matter. One, it doesn't matter how old you are, right? And it doesn't matter like how big or small your platform is, man. Like chase your why and chase your purpose and your passion, and you know, amazing things will happen.
Isn't it interesting when you push yourself and do amazing things like the run that you did, how it kind of brings you to meet people that are doing just as cool things that you never would have met if you weren't doing that type of
the greatest
trip.
It's so really cool. The greatest.
Top 3 places you stopped in during your journey.
Top 3 places I stopped in. I got to run straight through Ohio State. Ooh, you know, so sick. You know, being able to be around there, be going through campus, like one of my cousins goes to Ohio State, so it was pretty sweet, like seeing them, seeing the family. Arizona, even though we had really tough days there, like being up at Sitgreaves National Forest, like that was the highest point. It was beautiful.
It's awesome.
Up there, and then running through the great city of Philadelphia.
Yeah, look at that. He knows how to plug this city. He doesn't live here, but he knows where his roots are.
It's home, man. It's home.
You've done a lot of running and food challenges. Which one has been the most difficult so far outside of cross country?
Probably, I just did 100 miles on Saturday, and, we were pushing for the course record. So physically that was the hardest. That took, the training was the longest for that. And, performing that and getting that done on Saturday was probably the hardest thing I've done.
Cool. What is the next challenge on the docket for you?
Qualify for Boston in 4 weeks, so go run a fast marathon and then start picking out races for 2026.
Love it.
Yeah.
My sister just qualified for Boston.
Incredible.
She's a beast. What's one thing that holds people back from reaching their full potential?
I think they care too much what other people think. If you start a journey and you're going to start something new and you're going to chase your dream, people are going to make fun of you. People are going to talk about you, but you can't let it bother you, man. Yeah. You got to run your own race. You got to run your own race. One, my football coach would say, we take our shots and we live with them. And that's really how I live my life, right? Like whatever I do, I'm just going to live with it, man. And whatever, you have your family, you have the people that really care about you. That's all that matters, man. You're going to worry about someone who has no idea who you really are and their opinions. Dude, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
What's something that no one tells you about chasing big goals?
That to get to top of the mountain, you have to walk back down. And once you achieve that thing, there is a huge down to it. Mm-hmm. After the run across America, that was my life for so long, training for it.
Yeah.
It's what everyone talks about. Coming down from that high is real, and that I really struggled with that. And also just a piece of advice, man, you've already achieved the things you said would make you happy. Don't put a goal in front of you and do it because you think it's going to make you happy. Do it because you really want to do it, and that's the key difference.
That's awesome. That's fantastic advice. I love that. And we usually end on this question. It's one of my favorites. What is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Forward is a pace, and next step over a perfect plan. I think oftentimes people will wait until they have the perfect moment, or they have I'm not going to post this until it's perfect, or I'm not going to go chase this business idea until it's the perfect business idea, or if I have the perfect plan. You're never going to have it. It's never going to be a thing.
Yeah.
It's you just got to keep getting your reps in. You got to keep chasing the things that make you happy, and everything else will, work itself out.
That's true in so many facets of life, and especially in the content game.
Yeah.
There's so many people that are caught up in not posting things because they don't think it's perfect. And a lot of times that piece of content that didn't go out could have been the one that
you never know.
Changed.
You never know, man. You
Yeah.
never know.
That's awesome. Great questions, great answers. Appreciate your time. You know the deal. At the end of every episode, we have to dunk. So let's make it happen.
Let's get it done, guys.
Good work. You're a beast.
Special, man.
Special.
Rooftop cold plunge.
Ow. Thank you guys for tuning into the new season of the Rooftop Cold Plunge. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to bring you more incredible guests. See you next week.